Welcome to another segment of this vehicle vlogcast, A Little Light in the Night. I want to speak with you during this time about not giving up even when you feel you have nothing more to give, nothing more that you can do. You feel like you don't have any more strength to continue to press forward. It's in these times where it's not so much that you need to force your way through. It's okay to give pause and to rest, but just don't give up altogether. A lot of times when you're so close to a breakthrough, it's tempting to give up because the journey has been long, it's been hard, and you're ready to see things come into fruition and they simply haven't, as of yet. But you don't want to by any means give up just because you don't see the progress. And sometimes I know that things can seem very cliche, things that you hear, and you hear several messages about don't give up, don't give in, keep pressing in. And you feel like you've been honoring that for years and still nothing has happened. If you know anything about how Chinese bamboo grows, it is a process of building a strong root system underground for 4 years with no visible results on surface. But then in its 5th year, it springs up like 86 to 90 plus feet. And it is like an overnight process. And so often our journeys are much like the bamboo experience, and also continuously being on this treasure hunt for more of our greatness. And because we don't need to settle for even the goodness that we come into, there's always going to be this stretch, another leg of the journey that will demonstrate to us that there's something so much greater. And sometimes even as you're on your way to more greatness, that you know it's yours by divine right, part of your birthright. Sometimes you can be hit in coming out of something good to excel to something great, and will make you feel like you just should have stayed put. You should have just been content with what was, because things can seem to get worse. But going to that next level requires a different version of you and repositioning yourself. And sometimes to reposition yourself, to relaunch yourself anew, requires you to give pause, requires you to rest and reset, to reboot. But just don't give up. It's just like if you're traveling somewhere and there are rest stops along the way, but the rest stops, they aren't your final destination. And you can only spend so much time there. But you rest up and then you keep going. You keep going. And sometimes you don't know when it's going to be your final arrival point. But you don't want to give up no matter what. And especially if you've been working at something or going at it for so long, you don't want to give up at all. Again, it can be hard. You can ask for divine guidance in terms of, are there some other alternatives in the meantime as you are pressing on and pursuing? Sometimes we can make the end-all be-all of what we think is a final destination or final form. We can sometimes glorify that or over-glorify that in the process of the journey, that we miss the fact that along the way, there are other things that could be calling us that are still a part of the plan, part of reaching your goals. So you want to be mindful, you want to be sensitive to understanding that you just simply cannot give up. We hear the phrase, failure is not an option. Well, failure can be a part of the process, but it's not really failure. It's just feedback. And sometimes failing, there's a quote, I believe it's by Tony Robbins, sometimes failing to get your goal your goal is actually going to give you your dreams. And sometimes you don't realize that because you are tunnel vision in a way that limits you, is that instead of expands you, and instead of evolving you. So you want to reach a place of settlement within yourself, to give pause, to do some reflection, and to know that you don't have the right to quit, to give up. I've done talks in the past about you don't have the right not to be great. And it's something that I remind myself consistently of when I feel like I'm at my wit's end, like I have reached my edge. I will tell myself, but you don't have the right. You have no right not to see your greatness through. When God has invested too much into you and you've come too far in the journey. Now, I'm never a quitter, but I do believe that there are times we have to give pause and we have to reassess. We have to also see if the journey, in fact, is giving us a different set of guidance than before. Sometimes you're in the process of gathering more data, more information about what's coming into fruition as a breakthrough. And often when you get what would seem to be that missing piece, like dominoes, it would just tip one over, and then everything that you have been building, everything will fall into place. It will flow into place accordingly. So use discernment. Give pause, but don't quit. You don't have the right to give up.